What's going on, everybody? It's Benisect, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Awesomenauts. And this time I'm playing as Ted McPain, and I kind of just wanted to go over, what I think about him. It's been a few weeks since the release of the Starstorm Early Access, so we've had a good amount of time to play Ted, to the point where they've actually kind of added in patch notes and put in place for the beta what they're going to improve on. So right off the bat here, you see me pick up Snipe, which I think is one of the most asinine skills you can give a guy. Basically, 20 infinite damage on 1 second cooldown. It's a no consequence move. Here I am just hitting this Ayla. I've already dealt like 60 damage, and she can't even do anything, and I can just run away and keep spamming it. For one thing, that one is pretty ridiculous. I'm going to address some other points that I think other people have said, and one of those being his base health. I think it's 130, and they say that's way too low for what he is. Honestly, I feel like for the damage that he can put out, I would say 130 is just fine. His movement speed is kind of slow too. If I were going to pick one, I would say just give him a little more health, but keep his movement speed slow. He definitely does not need to be any faster than he already is. So aside from his snipe, his shotgun right here, just pumping out. I've already got 50 on this guy. So I'm glad that it seems like the range is a bit far, but I don't know, maybe I'm just shit at aiming. I know that they're going to turn it into 3 projectiles, which that'll be interesting to see how that is. I don't have access to the beta, so I can't see. But I do think his base shotgun damage is pretty high. I would say definitely needs a nerf. Maybe even just decrease it by like 5 points early on, because 25 early on, spammable by 5 hits, 125 damage. That's enough to take out like a Froggy early game solo. And like if you have somebody like a Swiggins with you, he'll just be able to wreck. But his playstyle is interesting. I find that when I play, I tend to focus more on his auto attack than anything else, like initially on the upgrades. See, Ayla's getting pinned right here. I'm just spamming away, hit her with 2 shotguns and a snipe, and Sam picks them off. But yeah, his auto attack, I'll just focus on that. I usually run snipe, the Commando Ted figurine, and then the grenade, just because grenades are douchey. That's the other thing. Grenades, like what the fuck were they thinking giving him grenades that last as long as they last, and 20 damage a pop, and they're so spammable. Like, that is so dumb. I don't know, it just infuriates me that some of the shit that they put on these characters, like, it doesn't seem like they think about what they're putting on them before they make it, but whatever. I think if they were going to remove it, or if they were going to improve on it, I would say, well, my initial thought of what the grenade would be when I first heard about it was, I thought it was going to be something kind of like a noob tube. Like, it was going to have an arc, and it was just going to like detonate on impact. And I thought maybe like 1 grenade every other shot or something, or like maybe, 1 or 2 grenades, depending on how much damage it does, per clip. Something like that made a little more sense to me, instead of this spammable mine that you can literally just cover a field like Yuri. Like that. It's a pretty ridiculous move. Very easy to take advantage of. I feel like they need to get rid of that one as well, or reconsider how they want it to be. But so I keep jumping around, but I'm gonna cover everything. So yeah, I'll focus on the auto attack just because I want that 40 damage on my shotgun like super early on. And then you can just obliterate turrets if you get behind your droids pumping out. I think he's maxed out at 4 damage now against the turrets, which is good because of how stupid high his DPS is. He was a turret wrecker. And then I'll go into the airstrike. I used to mess around with the stim pack, angel wing toilet paper, everybody did that. But to me, it's like, it's not really needed. Like, you can put your money in a better place. And that better place is just the auto attack upgrades. Sure, it's nice to have like the instantaneous refill on the shotgun, but if you're just sitting around like I am, just lounging, just going in and out, your shotgun's going to pick up those shells, anyways. And I I feel like maybe the shotgun reload perk would be pretty handy, just if you're in the engagements even more, because they'll like reload in less than a second, which is pretty good. I think it's on like a 1.2 second timer right now, but you know, ain't nothing but a chicken wing. So pretty much the go-to I would say is like grenades, snipe, and damage. Knockback is fun. You can juggle really well. I've seen guys just carry people in the air, and but I don't think it really works well with Ted because you want them to be close to you, so you don't really want to knock them back. I would say it's more like a defensive measure if you're going to like airstrike them, but it isn't really useful for me. Airstrike, that's the other thing. I think it's pretty stupid that it like from the lowest point all the way to the highest is where it reaches, but unless you have piercing, it won't go to the low, like below the lowest. Added on that you can heal yourself and your teammates. Like if you all stand on the airstrike, you all get the health. I think that's pretty stupid. He doesn't need moves that can like be reminiscent of Yuri and Voltar, and he can just shut down lanes. I think the damage on the airstrike is fine. That's like the equivalent of a Ray snipe, and you can like Ray, you can kind of see where it is. The hitbox on it is a little wonky, but I guess that's one of the things, like just figuring out what to do with it. Yeah, I mean, I think the cooldown needs to be increased a bit. I think they said if you do the try airstrike, then the cooldown will be increased, because when you call in the three-way airstrike, you're pretty much just calling in an airstrike after airstrike, because the amount of time that the airstrike lasts is basically the cooldown. So it's good that they're buffing or like nerfing the cooldown, increasing it. Otherwise, it's just incredibly spammable, like the mini nukes, the nades. I guess the only thing that's left would be his stim pack. Stim pack, aside from Angel Wing toilet paper, feels kind of useless to me. Like, I don't know. I know you have like movement speed and attack speed, but because your guy has to stop to use it, I try to always jump when I'm using it. That way it just doesn't feel like a wasted movement, because if I use it and he runs through the animation of him throwing his gun up in the air for that like second or second and a half, it just feels like I'm doing nothing. Here, I'm like, do I want stim pack? I pick it up. I get the Angel Wing toilet paper just because this was like before I kind of had like a solid idea of how I wanted to build him. But yeah, here I just take it, and if you're gonna take Angel Wing toilet paper, I always take I don't know the name of it, but the one where it heals you, because if you don't take that, like it's just you're doing damage to yourself. So when you combine regen with that, it's like there's really no consequences to using it. You're gonna regenerate your health immediately, and then on top of the Medican. And for the third one, because I hardly ever like pick up the third one or even like get to it or whatever, I'll just I think I take the movement speed just so I can chase. But I have seen some pretty crazy attacks on turrets and other players by using the stim pack and then shotgun blasting, or even using your machine gun. The damage rate just shoots through the roof for those few seconds. That's another thing. I haven't really talked about the machine gun. So I'll mostly only use the machine gun on turrets. I know shotgun does more, but I like to just save my shells for either like clearing droids or attacking enemies. I feel like the machine gun does just fine. Some people say it's kind of useless compared to his shotgun. I would say his shotgun is his primary weapon. Machine gun would be your secondary. That's pretty obvious. But I feel like his machine gun is mostly just used for like clearing droids. And holy cow, I'm almost dead here. But thank you, Medican. And range on machine gun's nice. He would probably be one of the only knots where I feel like I might even consider taking range on my auto attack. Vinny would be like the other one. Nobody else. Like, I just stupid. But the machine gun damage feels just fine to me. I don't think it needs to be buffed or lowered. For the most part, you're just pretty much going to be using it to, clear droids is what I would say. Or if you run out of shells, then get the last hit on them. But here, I do use my shotgun to attack the turrets because there's nobody near me. and then I'm just able to use the angel wing toilet paper, you know, freaking right off the bat and get all my shells back. And again, all my shells are spent. Use it again. Why not? It's just an infinite supply of shells. That's the other thing. Maybe they could consider decreasing the size of the how many shells the shotgun holds. Maybe like 3 shells total. And then if they kept like the same base damage, you could only get up to like 120 shots or 120 in damage, which is considerably less than the 200 you can deal out, but it seems a little more fair. Like Clunk can deal up to 100, you know, with his explode, or Durple like 95 on his nuke. So you know his 200 is definitely in his favor. These guys, these knots we were taking on, they weren't too good, but some of the knots that I feel counter Ted pretty well. Initially, I didn't think Froggy did, but because Froggy can get in and out pretty easily, just do a lot of bursting, I would say Froggy's a pretty good one. I've had some people say they don't think Scolder is, but I think he is. Ted just becomes Scolder's play toy when he throws him around and can Earthquake and punch him. Scolder can get kind of close with the same amount of DPS. Let's see. I think Swiggins is good just for anchoring him. Yeah, you can get him into team fights that way. Shit, right there, that's like ridiculous. Ayla had no chance. She thought she was gonna get her health, and I just took it all away from her right before her eyes. You see right there. I've seen people place mines all over the platforms. I think in the last video I posted like the little, just like little mini 1-minute video. There was a Ted who was hiding behind his turrets on a ribbit, the second to last turret on the bottom. He would not fucking step out. All he did was spam his mines, mine after mine. He had angel wing toilet paper. He had to have had the gel because he was not running out of health at all. And I literally could not do anything. It was the most infuriating thing ever. Right there. I had shotgun shells, but he was right next to me, so I just finished him off with a machine gun. So that was one instance where I would say you might switch to the machine gun. And see, now this late in the game I've picked up airstrike, and I pretty much only use this to clear out droids. I don't know what went wrong right there with my mouse. I was shooting weird. Yeah, but see, this Leon, like, the moment he's up to me, just like, you're dead. And we got awesome. So, I don't know how much base health turrets have, but the fact that I can destroy a turret by myself that quickly should not happen. So, I don't even know. And like right here, I'm just sniping him. I was like, if he even tries to get away, he can't get away. Yeah, even though that's the bot. But that's the other thing. I know the range on snipe, I think it extends screen, but I think it needs to be a little shorter. I think it needs to have a longer cooldown. I think it'd be cool if there was like an indicator on when you could actually use your snipe if they implemented the cooldown. Kind of like how Ray has the hit markers available when you've got somebody in your sights. Just all little suggestions that I think. It'd be interesting to see what they actually decide to do. And this is like base melt team, just fucking me and Durple. If you got a Voltar in here, we'd literally be unstoppable. But I just wanted to just kind of go over this and tell you what I think, you know, some gameplay in the background. But you know, just let me know what you guys think of him as well. I'm interested to see where this goes. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good one.
The government doesn't even say anything. Freedom on apple pie, block my women, shut up. Stupid.